Fellas, y'all gonna
y'all just
stop arguing with women is pointless. They filter information through their perceptual biases that's predicated on their moral purity. Women do not see facts. They see mean, rude, good, bad. That shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be this way. I don't like that. That's not fair. Notice how they always say, I feel like, I just feel like, I feel like, when speaking on a phenomenon. You'll find yourself in a cyclical battle of reiterating the same points over and over and trying to get back to the original point that you diverted from. Doesn't matter what amount of evidence you present women with. If she doesn't like it, she will not acknowledge it. She will not accept it. If you tell a woman 2 + 2 is 4 and she don't like you or 4, you just became a bigot, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, xenophobic. Someone hurt you or you're gay. If you tell a woman you like apples and she's an orange, you just told her that you hate oranges and your mother. If your favorite color is red and she's blue, you're a colorist. They're going to modify definitions and concepts to rationalize their position on the topic. They don't communicate to listen, understand, or for a solution.
What's going on, Rebel family? That's the lesson of today's live stream. Stop arguing with women, but today's live stream obviously is about toxic women in the Black Manosphere. You know, there's been a lot of talk about women being in the Manosphere. Does it help? Does it hurt? You know, some brothers are upset that this needs to be a man-only space. You know, that you know, women are coming in and, you know, disrupting, and this is for men, you know, so forth and so on. So I want to take a look at a few things and share my perspective on, you know, is it helpful? Is it hurtful? Helpful? Obviously, you know, I, I'm not going to get into necessarily which women, not like I'm not going to recommend women necessarily, or denigrate which ones I wouldn't want to listen to, what have you. But I am going to recommend a few. We're going to take a look at a couple who are really sharp, and I think adds tons and tons of benefit into the manosphere. And even just thinking about that whole topic, right? In terms of you can't control who comes in. But I want to start off with very, very sharp, very sharp clip with a couple of sharp women in the manosphere that I think are pretty sharp, actually, from what I've seen of them. And one has been around for a while, Jessica X, and the other, Chez Charde, has come in maybe 6 7 months, maybe. I think, I don't know. I just discovered her a couple months ago or what have you, but from what I've seen, she's very sharp and she adds a ton of benefits. So let's go ahead and jump right into that first clip here.
Should have a voice in the manosphere. Why or why not?
It's such a hard one. It's such a
Mm-hmm.
hard one, and because it's so hard and it's so controversial, I've stepped back from saying that my channel is a manosphere channel,
Mm-hmm.
simply for the fact that I know there's going to be a lot of people that don't want me to have that title.
Right.
Some people, and it is the manosphere, so you can understand people wanting it to be a man space. However, the manosphere is not a monolith. It's an
Right.
umbrella of different people, different groups of thoughts. Everyone is not the same. And so the way that I like to see it is you do things on a channel by channel basis. So there are some men who say, listen, no women in here, none. And when they have that view, I respect it, stay back. You fellas over here, do your thing. Because I can understand why men need their spaces to have like man discussions, because I do think a woman can change a dynamic. Women can change the dynamic of conversations. And so I can fully appreciate that they want their own space to be able to do their own thing. So if somebody has a channel and they want it to be man only, got ya. I'm out of there. You won't have to see my face. But then other people are, they welcome women. So they say if women want to be here, sorry, I'm recovering from a cough as well.
Yeah, it's
if
okay.
women
It's okay.
if women want to be here and they want to chime in, support, be part of the discussion, then they're happy to do so. So it's a controversial one. I take it on a content creator by content creator basis and just see what they're cool with.
And see, that's a very reasoned response, right? And a couple of things, she Jessica X there on the right, and Chez Charde. I think they were on Chez Charde's channel, and Chez Charde was interviewing Jessica X for this for that particular live stream. So she basically kind of started off with, the manosphere is not a monolith, and so forth. And no one controls who's in the manosphere. That's the thing. There's no barriers to entry, right? YouTube is really the only entity that would, let's say, control who's in the manosphere by stating, you don't have a channel anymore, or, taking your YouTube channel down. But if you actually create a YouTube channel and start producing content and it's geared towards black men, the algorithm will most likely put you in that place. So it is not a brick and mortar place to where you have someone guiding or at the door saying, hey, you can get in, you can't get in, or you have to leave. So it's not that type of thing, right? Yeah, and we saw this very clearly, right? That um and really what it is just that brothers in the space, or sisters in the space, or whatever, brothers or sisters in the space won't support you. Me, like Fresh and Fit, for instance, right? um when I guess the first initial blow up with them, where I guess they took some shots at Kevin Samuels. They had all these uh they had their first big blow up, And I remember a live stream that O'Shea Duke Jackson did, and he's, one of the I guess godfathers of the Black Manosphere, or at least this particular iteration. And he was like, "Hey, these guys are out. We're not supporting them. Like they don't get no support from those guys, right? From anybody in the Black Manosphere side. This is Fresh and Fit. So, but Fresh and Fit still continue to grow, and they are continuing to do their thing, and and not that they ever really I think that they never really fit into the Black Manosphere because it wasn't anything race specific with those guys. It was man or male specific. So would black men, go over there? Sure, but a lot of white guys went over there as well, right? Because of their skin color, then someone could say, "Hey, they're in the Black Manosphere." So, like this recent thing that happened with them when they, I guess, had Asian Doll on on the channel, and she, they kicked her off or whatever, however that went down. Then so many people were writing articles and placing them in the Black Manosphere, and it was only based off of their skin color. But clearly, their content, is general to all men. It, more so the manosphere, I guess, in general, the white side of things. But the brothers on the on the Black Manosphere side was like, "Hey, we're done with these guys. We're hands off. These guys are on their own." But still people lump them in there into the Black Manosphere because of their skin color. So it's like a lot of women, right? So Jessica X, her videos will come up whether someone says, "Oh, she shouldn't be here." I mean, that's silly. It sounds like someone from high school. So, but she's right, taking it by channel on a channel by channel basis. So if someone says, "Hey, no women over here," then she's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be there." You know what I mean? And that's a mature way to be, as opposed to um you'll see comments, you'll get comments and so forth, and it's like, clearly I'm talking to black men, and I have no problem with women being over on the side or on the channel. But you know if you and here and there I will say, give advice and so forth towards women, or what I think women should do, or what have you. But it is not a channel necessarily to give women advice, but it's to try to give brothers advice for the betterment of the black community. So I mean, in terms of just trying to make things better, to where I see where there's some things that are awry, especially with other content creators, and to try to correct those things, because they are giving advice to other people. But so women are absolutely welcome on this side. um, you know it, I wouldn't probably be the best to give you advice from a female standpoint. I mean, obviously, I can tell you what men want in general. You could take that, or how men think, and you can take and use that to help you, if it does help you or not. But it's and then you couldn't keep people from your channel anyway, right? I mean, people come and watch your content. You want people to see your content. So I don't understand, but I guess they're talking about other content creators, but women, definitely women, and welcome, especially ones who are smart and sharp, like these two here. This is a very, very good clip explaining this.
But I can understand how men could be skeptical of how many women there are in the manosphere.
And I'll touch on that. And that's one of the complaints that I saw here, that women are taking over the resources. Women are getting a lot of super chats and a lot of Patreon. I mean, excuse me, PayPal, or Cash apps and so forth. Now, what's the saying that we always say? Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? So it shouldn't be a thing that anyone is upset with women because men are giving them, they're supporting them financially. You have to be upset with the men who are doing it. Okay, so we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out just how much men or black men, I should say specifically, just how much black men want black male media, ran by black men, produced by black men, for black men, or or are we still stuck in the thing to where we want a black woman telling us what to do and advising us? We're gonna see. 2022, I think, is going to pan that out. And I saw a brother make a comment that, um, how ironic would it be if the largest channels in the Black Manosphere, after Kevin Samuels being, 1.3 million or whatever, then the next four largest channels are all black women, geared in the Black Manosphere, right? How ironic would that be? Well, that will just show you that black men like to be advised and listen to black women. They like to be led by black women. They're still not yet moved over to the leadership aspect, and that's why a lot of brothers find it hard for women to submit to them, right? So, we have like, media, MTR, mediocre tutorials and reviews, and Poor Man Podcast, right? Those guys are large channels, but their content, you know, yes, they are black men, but their content easily would sit into their content will easily sit into the their content will easily sit into the regular manosphere, right? And so you can't really necessarily look at those as being specific just to the black manosphere, right? And so you have that, but you have O'Shea Duke Jackson. I think the same thing with O'Shea, right? That they're not always talking and hitting, black manosphere talking points. He has general advice, and then he has the kind of the celebrity junk kind of, topics or what have you. So, but it's we're gonna find out here. These are very sharp women. I like this clip. They're smart, and these are the type of women that I think, will be a benefit to the manosphere. But let's keep going here, because she continues to speak, and it's very good advice from both of them. But let me keep going here.
Because like I said, women do change that dynamic. They do bring a different energy, and you don't want that energy to take away from what you've got going on. Or, if we're sitting down and we're having a girl chat, ladies discussion, Danica, hey,
Hey.
um, we're having like girl chat. A guy being there can throw that dynamic off a bit, It can.
Right.
You might not say the same stuff. You might not be as open. So I can understand you don't want too many women around, or if you do want your space where it's just men. I guess it.
I always find that one a little bit I find that one it's tricky because there's such like a blurry line, if you will, because for example, I wouldn't say that I'm a woman in the manosphere by any means. I've talked to men within the manosphere, but it's like I'm not like every single day hitting manosphere talking points or like, like full blown red pill. But ideologically, if you are a heterosexual woman that likes heterosexual men, then there's going to be things that you say or speak about or support that are probably going to be ideologically, in step with the manosphere.
Look at that very salient point, logical, straight. Like, hey, I'm a heterosexual woman, so things that I'm going to talk about will touch over into the manosphere. It will be pertinent to heterosexual black men, because that's, who she's married to, but, black man or what have you. Very, very smart comment here, and this is the type of energy that you need. And just her channel is one of the channels that I would definitely recommend brothers subscribe to, because she doesn't just cover, like she said, red pill talking points or anything she has a wide range of topics that she covers, and it's pertinent to the Black community. Very, very well put together channel, produced well, so forth.
And so I think that's where it gets a little bit tricky. And then also you have a lot of men who are constantly reviewing women. I mean, take MTR for example, where
Hold on, I'm having technical problems. I can't hear the rest of the video. Hold on a second. Just give me a quick second.
Fellas, y'all gonna
you think women should have a voice in it matters.
Cool stuff. You might not be as open, so ladies discussion. We're sitting down, we're having bring a different energy, and you don't want that energy to take away from what you've got going on. Or if we're sitting down, we're having a girl chat, ladies discussion. Danica, hey,
Hey,
we're having like girl chat. A guy being there can throw that dynamic off a bit. It can.
right.
You might not say the same stuff. You might not be as open. So I can understand you don't want too many women around, or if you do want your space where it's just men. I guess it.
Okay, so with that point there that Jessica X just made, I I I do see that. I do see that the dynamic is thrown off whenever there are men and women, whenever there are men, depending on the panels, right? And depending on the type of panels. So when I see all male panels, shout out to King Talk, shout out to Crew Season, even Chez Charde and some other sisters had a all women panel, no problems, right? No issues at all. Typically, when the panels are made up of like-minded people, if they're on the same wavelength, there's no issues there as well. It's when you have the diametrically opposed views on a panel and it's mixed gender, men and women, then I've seen that dynamic happen to where, okay, men can't talk the way they want to talk if there's certain women around, right? It depends, right? Women can't talk the way they want to talk if there's men around, right? Because I'm gonna show some of those clips here later. Let's keep going here.
I always find that one a little bit I find that one it's tricky because there's such like a blurry line, if you will, because for example, I wouldn't say that I'm a woman in the manosphere by any means. I've talked to men within the manosphere, but it's like I'm not like every single day hitting manosphere talking points or like, like full blown red pill. But ideologically, if you are a heterosexual woman that likes heterosexual men, then there's going to be things that you say or speak about or support that are probably going to be ideologically, in step with the manosphere. And
Hmm.
so I think that's where it gets a little bit tricky. And then also, you have a lot of men in the manosphere who are constantly reviewing women. I mean, take MTR, for example, where
Hmm.
love his channel, but majority of his channel is just about like finding the lowest common denominator and reviewing those women. That's kind of his thing. And so it's like he's constantly talking about women and women behavior, although he's in the manosphere. So it's like, okay, if you are talking about me or talking about us as a woman, how can I not be involved in that dialogue? So that's where I think it gets a little bit tricky, but I do understand. Like I totally agree that there should be certain spaces where it's just men only. And I think that there are certain areas where it's like, no, this really is like a man space. But then when you talk about relationships are by default, you know,
Both
like require
genders.
two people.
Yeah.
So it's not a one-sided conversation. So it's really tricky to me. Do you think
Absolutely, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Like she said, when we're talking about relationships, obviously that's definitely women need to be included in that particular conversation, right? But it can't be just it just can't be every single woman, right? You have to vet the women that you're going to bring up, right? They have to be you have to pick and choose which woman you're going to bring up on a panel and so forth. And so again, how ironic. We're going to find out exactly, what men want, because men, no need to keep complaining about the 90s and Oprah and all of the magazines from Ebony Essence and all these magazines that kind of was dumping on black men in the 90s, the talk shows, the Ricky Lakes and all these talk shows that were dumping on black men back in the 90s. No need to keep complaining about it now, because we have the ability to produce our own media, even if it's just YouTube. YouTube is a large search space, right? It's trillions of hours of content. So you can produce your own content. You can produce it like the brother did the clothing line, for us by us, right? Fubu. So men can produce content for us by us, and we will see what black men really want. Do black men really want content produced by black men, or do they want content produced by black women for black men? Right? We're going to see what's going to happen here. Let me load up this next clip here. Actually, I want to load up all of these clips, but just that might have been why I had the issue that I had just a second ago. So I want to bring up this other clip, and this is a very good example of how the dynamics change when women are on the panels, or excuse me, when hold on, let me do this here. So this clip comes from the I Am Courtney Michelle show. It was she had this she had this clip. I don't remember which live stream it is. I'll probably put it in the description. I'll link it in the description. So this is one of the channels that I've noticed that she has a lot of black men come on the channel, and I think that the most of the panels that I've seen of her, she's had more black men on the panel than black women. And she also states that she's not in the Black Manosphere, but she's adjacent. And I do like a lot of what Courtney's doing, but this is where the dynamics change, right? So if it's this is one of the pitfalls that I see coming out of women having channels and black men going on those channels, right? This brother calls in Supreme Clientele. I don't know too many of these. I've seen some of these brothers pretty much only on her channel here. They are posted up, but here's where the dynamics change. So this brother, I'm gonna just let it play in context. So I'm gonna see if you guys catch it, and let you hear what the brother has to say, and then I want to know. I'm gonna have a question at the end of this.
All creatures are selfish by nature. Nurture is what determines whether or not you continue to operate like that or not. Men learn by nature the hard way. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Exactly.
Right.
Cause and effect, right? If I don't get out there and grind, I'm gonna go without. You, on the other hand, if you don't go out there and grind, you'll get Section 8.
Food stamps.
You'll get food stamps.
What?
Hold on. You'll get alimony.
Well, let's go back. Men can get Section 8, and they do.
No, you can't. Man cannot get Section 8. Section 8 is for women with children.
WIC is with.
Okay, see how the brothers on the panel were agreeing with what he said, because the brothers understood what he meant. And though Courtney was technically right that men can get it, men can get Section 8. It's a long shot, right? Men getting Section 8 is a long shot, but women getting Section 8 is they hand it out like candy, right? It's because typically women have the children, the majority of the time, and when women have children, single mothers or whatever it is, the likelihood of them being in poverty is increases. So they are the majority of the recipients of Section 8, right? So the brothers understood that, hey, yeah, though it's minuscule that men get Section 8. So that's why most of the brothers in unison were shaking their head, yes, because they understood. Because we understood. If this was a man, this minuscule number wouldn't have been mentioned, right? If it was just men on the panel. I'm gonna keep going.
That you can get
no. Hold on. WIC is food stamps. You have to fall below a certain income threshold for WIC.
You're absolutely
Section
right.
8 is for single parents, and that's for women.
See, now he did say single parents, so he did acknowledge here that men can get it, single parents, but we know how it's written. It may say single parents, but for the most part, it's women, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
So they said for the most part. See, so brothers would have let this go and kept going and make the point. But here's where it goes off the rails.
I just Googled it. Section 8 is for a single person.
He said that.
It's not for a
And
male or a
Lauren,
female.
nothing from nothing. Lauren, hold
Easier
on.
to get as a woman.
Nothing for nothing. Just because they say that, don't make it so. I know women directly who work in the program. The folks who get Section 8 are women. Most men don't get children. Most men are not in that situation. They generalize it as.
Hold on. So
See, now they had to Google it because here again, the sign language, right? Shame, insults, guilt, the need to be right, right? So they had to Google it to make. Oh, well, men can get it. Okay, all right.
Section 8, because I know a couple men that were on Section 8. They was using the system, but men can get on Section 8. Men can get on food stamps.
See, men have to use the system in order to get on it. See, that right there lets you know that it's a minuscule number, man.
Okay, so let's do this because you two choose to be pedantic. Awesome. Okay, you understand statistics. When they do polls, there's the majority and then there's the outliers. Do you believe that the majority of the folks on Section 8 are men with children?
Well, this is
that's a yes or no. Do you believe the majority of men?
Wait a minute. We're going to be respectful on my platform, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what I'm saying, I'm not doing.
Did you catch it? All he said was that's just a yes or no. That wasn't being disrespectful, but because it's a man saying something that she didn't like because he was correct. You're going to talk about the outliers, and then that's just a yes or no. Oh, wait. you're going to be respectful on my platform. He wasn't disrespectful. And he said, oh, of course, because he understood he wasn't being disrespectful. Just say yes or no. Let me go back. This is where, and this happens on, and there's going to be something else. This kind of thing I see happen frequently on her platform.
Do polls, there's the majority and then there's the outliers. Do you believe that the majority of the folks on Section 8 are men with children?
Well, this is
that's
what
a yes or no. Do you believe the majority of men?
Wait a minute. We're gonna be respectful on my platform, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what I'm saying, I'm not doing the percent of majority or minority. What I'm saying is that men can get Section 8.
See, she totally wants to get away from what does matter. Because if you say 99.9% of the people on Section 8 are women, but then that, 0.1% is men. Yes, technically, yes, men can get it, but it's so minuscule that why even bring that up? Because you brought it up to try to make it, to make them seem, like it's equal. Like they're equitable numbers of men and women getting on Section 8, and it's just not true. That's why he was bringing the point back to, hey, wait a minute, that's just a yes or no. Like, does that matter? And it does matter.
It's
so
not,
you're arguing. So you're arguing the absolute term.
I'm not arguing. I'm
you're making an absolute point, Michelle. Your absolute point is men can get Section 8.
They can.
Yes.
Look at the brother Black Man Unfiltered. I don't know the brother. He said the brother called her Michelle, which is not incorrect, but for some reason that triggered my man Black Man Unfiltered. Now watch what happens here.
That's your point.
Now, whether or not it happens often is not has nothing to do with what
yes,
we
it does.
So then here's the question: If we can come to common accord that the majority of the recipients of Section 8 are not men, what is the point of pointing out that men can get it?
Because it's written. It's in the.
But what is the point? What is the point of being made? Most men don't even get their children in custody battles. So what's the point of pointing out that some men do?
Okay, the importance of it is that we're not going to get on here and state something that's not true. So when you got on here, you said.
Okay, so let me rephrase it for you.
Let her finish, please. Can she finish?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me say something real quick. Hey, so Supreme Clientele. Hey, this is Courtney's platform, man. You got to let her finish her sentences. She runs this entire thing. This is hers. So out of respect, brother, allow her to run her own show.
I mean, I
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Now, I have a question. Did he have to do that? See, this is a problem. This is one of the problems. I wish I had all night, but this is just one of the problems that I've seen in this space, especially when it's a woman's platform. Right. So Black Man Unfiltered didn't have to do that. Courtney, this is Courtney's platform, and she's using StreamYard. Everybody knows of StreamYard. If you have people up on your panel, she could just easily boot this dude. If she thought it was so disrespectful, and he wasn't being disrespectful, but Lauren had to say something. Oh, this is her platform. See, it's always that. You know what this reminds me of, brothers? This reminds me of when a woman has an apartment, even if it's Section 8, because I've seen this before. A woman can have a Section 8 apartment or house, whatever. And a dude could be kind of shacked up with her, whatever. She will be like, yo, this is my house. Even though it's Section 8. I've seen this I don't know how many times where a woman will buck on a man and say, this is my house. Though it's a Section 8 house now, apartment, that some of them, at least back in the 90s, I don't know what it is now, but they would pay like $8 a month for, an apartment or a house or whatever to live there. But this is my house. It's unbelievable. This is her platform, yes. He wasn't being disrespectful because if he were talking to the men on the panel, that wouldn't have been no issue. But Black Man Unfiltered felt triggered enough to put on the cape. Lauren had to Lauren did it because okay, she's in solidarity with women. So hey, wait a minute, we're gonna check this man here. He's talking in a way that is not he's not acquiescing to the power dynamic on this panel. So I have to remind him, though, this is a woman's channel. And I saw another, I should have used that clip actually, but this one was good enough to make the point. I saw another clip of or portion of a live stream. I didn't even see the whole live stream because Courtney Michelle will clip it up kind of like Lapeef Network or whatever, right? A lot of people chop up their live streams. Man, it was brothers fighting over who was going to check some brother who wasn't being disrespectful. It was two brothers literally who's going to be the first one to tell this brother, hey, it's Courtney's platform. It's Courtney's platform. You got to respect the platform. Man, see, I'm of the mindset of Jessica X. A platform like this, I would never go on because, I'm not meek when I'm speaking, and if I'm speaking a point, and especially if it's something that I'm passionate about, and so I'm gonna speak with a certain tone level. And I've seen people say they're yelling. I'm like, this man is not yelling. This man is talking, but he's enunciating his words. He's speaking with bass in his voice, but he's not emotional. He wants to make his point. And this is what happens here. So this is one of those dynamics that Jessica X was talking about here, that it changes the dynamic, right? Like I said, you don't see this kind of thing on those panels with all men, Crew Season, King Talk. Those are some of the ones that I know because those are just in my realm. I'm sure there's others that you can see that there's a different dynamic that that you don't see this type of dynamic. And the other dynamic that we see here, and this comes from the Lapeef channel. So it's so ironic that this was the way it was, but then King Talk is the total opposite.
Y'all just emotional.
Okay, so let me play this. And shout out to Anton. It's funny that he's saying that they're just being emotional because I've seen him get emotional. I mean, literally, and it's not I'm not trying to shame him or nothing like that, because we all get emotional about something or have the potential to, because we're human beings, right? So we have to stop saying that men can't, we aren't allowed to express all of our feelings, right? Or excuse me, let me say this: Black men aren't allowed to have a full range of emotion, because there's always somebody there to shame somebody about it. But the only thing about it is you can't tell, or you can tell, but it's kind of hypocritical. You can tell women, hey, you're just being emotional. But then if you turn around and then be emotional, then that makes you look hypocritical. So we know that, women most of the time run their, everything is expressed through their emotions, their feelings, and so forth, right? Decisions, their, talking points when they analyze something is run through the emotion. So saying a woman is emotional is like saying the sky is blue at this point, right? Are there going to be some women that are more logical than others? Yes. And those are the ones that I would deal with. So in this particular clip here, I can't, again, I'll have to post all this stuff in the description. This comes from a live stream, and the brother, Mr. Logic, who I found, I didn't know about him because it's been a while since I've seen the Lapeef network show. I saw this on Facebook. Some brother clipped this particular portion. And so I went back and tried to understand the context. Mr. Logic was saying that HBCUs for finance degrees, they were subpar. There's not one HBCU in the top 100 of schools with finance degrees. And so he was calling the HBCUs subpar because of that. And they went back and forth and around and trying to discuss or define what subpar meant and so forth and so on. And he is right that if there's not one HBCU in the top 100, it is subpar. And they were like, well, it has to be below 50%. Well, ma'am, if you can't get one in the top 100, that is below 50%, right? You didn't crack out of all the HBCUs, not one cracked the top 100. So that means it's 100% subpar in terms of finance. But anyway, so this young woman, Lainey Womack, comes in and she wants to address that particular point. Or she did it before. The clip starts after this. She's going to address Anton, and this is where, and I'll tell you the problems that I see with this. Other than, like I said, and he has a right to, and it's no shame or whatever, but it's just a bad look if you tell women they're being emotional and then you become emotional.
Y'all just emotional over y'all schools. Just say that, bro.
If you
That's
say
really
I can
be emotional about it, but I'm not.
Y'all just emotional about your schools.
It's not emotional.
No,
when you use a word out of context or you don't know the definition, and that's correction. That's not emotion.
I just think ultimately we should not shit on our own institutions. That's all. But
wait.
I
agree.
How's that my institution?
I'm just curious.
Well, I know you don't identify as black and you don't see
whoa,
color.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Rilla, he has said that.
Wait. You said what?
Say that again. You said you don't identify as black. You don't see color.
Is black?
You haven't said that.
You identify as black. You a color?
And HBCU is a black institution.
You a color.
And you've said that you don't identify. You don't label things in black and white. So I get that's not something that resonates
sure about
with
that?
you.
I said things are very black and white. It's either or. That's literally what I said. However, I don't identify as a color. You're right.
Okay, that's what I was.
You went to an HBCU. This is what they taught you?
No,
we're really doing semantics for real.
Well, Courtney said that words mean things. You ain't do that when Courtney said it.
That's not what he said.
Wait.
Go ahead, bro.
You ain't checked Courtney when she said it. Then all of a sudden, when I want to start digging in a little bit with my community college, wait. When I want to start digging in with my community college education, you don't want to have a conversation. Words don't mean as much.
You're comparing black, how we refer to African Americans. That's something we created within this country. Courtney's referring to specific diction, like she's referring to rhetoric that he's using. That is totally different. Like,
so her rhetoric that she's using in order to quote me,
it says black/African American.
The rhetoric that she's using in order to quote me don't matter though.
Yeah, because that's not what he said at all, Kayla.
The rhetoric that she's using in order to quote me don't matter though, right?
It matters, Kayla.
I could have sworn.
How he knows he's a black man. He knows he's African descent. So it's like it's semantics at this point because we know black means African American. African American means black. That's why I said, why are we playing semantics?
That's not fair, Kayla.
You see this?
The young lady literally just said, "I know you don't identify as black," and he has never said that.
No. And but wait. But words don't mean nothing though. We supposed to skip over that. But then words mean something when we argue in semantics when it comes to your little college, huh?
Right, but then just like you say, Mr. Logic's example, it's okay for him to use his personal example, or whatever example he feels like.
Look how she changed the argument. And this is kind of one of the reasons why, I stopped watching this panel. This panel is always like, it's total chaos. It doesn't appear to be constructive whatsoever. And they're arguing about, if he says he never said that, even Rilla is saying it, that he's never said that. Why are you still arguing the point about she would just admit that she was wrong? This is the point. Like, instead of just saying, okay, the young woman was wrong by saying that, Kayla wants to argue the point and go around in circles. Totally non-constructive conversation. Like, I would have a headache if I was on this panel.
to make his point. But then when Lene comes on and use an example of Jackson State and Deion Sanders, it's like, oh, we don't care about your experience. We don't care about the blah, blah, blah. So you can't pick and choose when you want it to be for you or for your homeboys, and then try to chastise women when they come on the show to speak their opinion and give their example to support their opinion.
It's always going to be a woman thing, Anton. When you're dealing with modern women and feminists or whatever, it's always going to be, well, it's always going to be that. You're always going to get that.
So no, what I'm telling you is that
you got to pick one, though.
What I'm telling you is that she a grown woman and she don't need you in order to speak for
her. And I don't care what you're saying.
Let me have the conversation with her, because I'm sure she don't need no lawyer. I know y'all both graduated from the same school, but calm down for a second and let me have the conversation with her and don't get emotional.
But I said what I said.
Okay, cool. And we don't care what you say. Now that you said what you said, let's move on, because this ain't got nothing to do with you. Nobody asked your opinion on this in the first place.
Stay here. If Lene wants to stay here, we can stay here.
What does that have to do with you speaking
again?
For her?
Like
I'm talking to her.
I always interject.
Whenever I feel like it. I don't need permission.
I'm talking to her. She a grown woman. She don't know how to defend herself.
I said about Lene, if she wants to use whatever experience she wants to use to support
this, don't even got nothing to do with you. What are you even talking about?
Man, I don't even know how. I don't know how Anton does it. I really don't. I'm not gonna sit up here and argue with my wife like this, let alone argue with some other chick that I have no connection with. No, the only if, and I'm gonna say if, the only person who should be arguing with her, if he's gonna argue with anybody, and I don't even suggest that, is the dude that she's having sex with. That's the only one it would be worth anything to hear her just arguing. Like, at least you get something at the end of the day, maybe, right? But other than that, like, why would you subject yourself to? No, I'm not gonna listen to this. No, it's just that cackling in my ear. I'm like, it's driving me insane over here to listen to it for like the 5th time again to see if I wanted to use this clip.
In regards to anything.
What does this have to do with you?
But Kayla, it wasn't about
I felt like saying
she misquoted that man.
Okay, now that you said it, can you please let me and her have the conversation?
What did you say, Rilla?
I'm just real quick.
Rilla, no, stop. Don't entertain this shit. Why are you even entertaining this? Like, we being too nice and too courteous.
You against
don't entertain this shit, Rilla. What are you talking about? We're not gonna keep on entertaining this nonsense.
We are though. If you don't want to, you can go.
Anton, what is
who can go
on the show?
Stop. Who can go?
Come on,
you just said you don't feel like entertaining it.
Come on.
And I'm not leaving. So what are we gonna do?
Look at the way
Kayla, she misrepresented that man.
And we're gonna
Yo, I'm sorry. This cracks me up every time because so here's the just totally straight challenged him. I mean, just totally just straight, just okay. Do you want to see male emasculation or just emasculation in if emasculation was a person, it'd be Kayla right here in this particular instance, because she's telling Anton, who I guess with JR, I don't know exactly how the dynamic works, but I know JR and Anton kind of run the Lapeef network together, or I don't know the hierarchy. I'll just put it that way. But together, they're partners. They run the thing. So you're gonna tell someone whose platform it is, you can leave. I'm not leaving, but you can leave. All smugly. I mean, this is just totally just to antagonize. Like, and I absolutely blame both of them for this, right? JR and Anton. Because why would you have a woman on here? It's great for ratings, right? Black people love to see drama, but people, period, love to see drama, right? But this clip, because it was, like I said, it was on Facebook, so the post had quite a few views and so forth, and hundreds of comments talking about this particular clip. So obviously drama sells, right? So cool, if that's what you're trying to do, you just drama, views and so forth. That's all well and good. But totally just antagonizing him, and look at the look that he's giving her. She's totally ignoring it. You know, I mean, this dynamic is just crazy.
Keep talking,
For real,
right?
for real. I need her to admit this. She misrepresented that man's view.
Okay.
He said he don't identify as black, and he has never said this on this platform. And
Rilla,
if ain't nobody else,
Rilla, we not Rilla, we not talking about this. Rilla, just stop. I don't need nobody to speak for me.
I hear you, and I respect that, bro. But I'm just telling you.
Okay,
Hold on, y'all. Can we let the guest talk? Can we let the guest talk for a second? She got something to say. She got something.
And it's always 1,000 people talking at the same time. You can't hear crap. It's totally non-constructive, right? Neely Fuller told us, you know, we should never get together and discuss problems. We should only discuss solutions, right? Meaning, we all know the problems. We're gonna have a panel. We're gonna have a forum. We're gonna on this particular issue. Okay, you know, black boys, you know, reading level is bad, right? Okay, that's the problem. Now we're gonna get together and we're gonna talk about this particular issue, but we're not gonna get together and then discuss the issue. We're gonna know in advance that's the topic that we're gonna have, but you need to come with a full-fledged solution from point A to point Z of how you would implement some type of reading program that will get our boys up to the reading level that they're supposed to be or beyond. So everyone comes in and has their solution. Okay, in actuality, now that we have technology, we can actually have those disseminate those solutions before we even get to the meeting. So that way, once we get to the meeting, we only vote on we can have a vote on the solution that we feel that's best, because before we got to the meeting, we've read everyone's solution. Okay, boom. His solution looked like it's gonna work. So when we get to the meeting, boom. First thing we do, we're voting on the solution that we think is best. Okay, it's solution A. All right. Now all we're gonna do the rest of the meeting is discuss how we're going to implement that solution, right? Next time we come back about that, we see how the solution worked. If it didn't work, we choose another solution and keep going. That's how this thing is supposed. That's how logically you're supposed to attack a problem. You don't get you don't get together and then discuss the solution. I had a particular position that I worked at, right? And for those of you who don't know, I'm a network engineer. I've been one for 20 years, right? Over 20 years. It's almost 25 years now, right? So network engineer, and I'm on the Cisco networking side, you know, the routing, switching, you know, data center operations. That's my bag, right? But I've done some of everything, right? Microsoft, you know, VMware, you know, some programming, so forth. Right? I've done 20 years or whatever plus. I've done pretty much everything, you know, out there in terms of networking, you know, and I chose to stay on the Cisco side because that's the side that I like. But anyway, we would have whenever a problem came up. So we're having network congestion, right? Or it appears to be network congestion. Let me say that, because it typically never normally is, but that's a whole nother talk show, right? So some application is running slow. Some SQL server somewhere is not processing the cycle, whatever. It's not doing this. It's slow. All right. So then, like clockwork, the project manager will, you know, put together a meeting to call everybody in to discuss the problem. That used to drive me crazy. I would be in these meetings just literally like just dying, because I'm like, yo, look, we just go through this thing systematically, right? We're always going to start with networking first. Okay, I always have to prove that, hey, it's not networking, because if it was networking, you know, it would pretty much affect everything, right? Generally, right? And I'm like, okay, look, there's no other issues on the network. You know, we're not seeing lag and, you know, with email, we're not seeing lag through the internet, we're not seeing lag on telephony. We're not seeing this issue anywhere else across the network. No other remote sites, no other so it appears to be local to that server or that application or that process or whatever. So I would want to systematically just rule out stuff and then let people off the call, but they would want you to sit on the call and just, in case that something else come up and we want you to test this. I'm like, look, we rule out the possible things and then find us, work on the thing that is most likely the problem. And I'm saying that to say that's how I like to systematically try to do things, right? But this totally unproductive because, she's just there to antagonize, just to win the argument. Instead of just saying, okay, letting the girl speak for herself, for one, because she ain't a girl, means she's a woman. Let her speak for herself. Hey, she's wrong. Even Chicago really was just trying to say, hey, look, just say that she was wrong. And instead of doing that, it's that sign language all over again. I mean, whoever came up with it, I was telling somebody, I was like, look, brothers have figured out the shame and the insults, right? We just didn't put the need to be right as the biggest piece, because guilt kind of runs along with shame or whatever, right? Because we've seen this on social media for the past 4 or 5 years, how women will shame you and then insult you, and those were the two that always, well, you can't shame. Shaming don't work, insults don't work. And then Kevin popularized the other two, guilt and the need to be right. And the need to be right is strong here.
I'm gonna say, go ahead.
2 things. So just how Rilla stepped in for Anton and was defending Anton's point, that's what Kayla was doing. So if we're gonna
totally off subject,
let's not interrupt, then
look at it. She's totally off subject. Still didn't address whether or not she was right or wrong.
Let's keep that same energy across. That's all. Secondly, I could have sworn on several streams that Anton, back when we were talking, y'all were talking about, I think when Amir had first came on the platform and there was not putting out, the on code situation, all that stuff. I could have sworn on several occasions around that time, Anton, you had said things along the line of you not identifying as Black, you not resonating with Black culture, you don't see race, you don't see color, you only identify with people based on character. So based on that phrasing, maybe you did not verbatim say, I do not identify as a Black man. Maybe you didn't. I thought you did. And if you did not say those words, then okay. But in totality, all of the things that you did say around that time, to me, interpreted as I don't identify as a Black man. And that's why I said that in this context of this conversation.
Okay. You notice she never did say she was wrong. She just never did just straight out say I was wrong. She went all around and said all this stuff that, you don't identify with this, you align with people this. None of that. Well, I may have thought you said and kind of said, and okay, well, maybe you didn't say it. Okay. Never did say, hey, look, okay, I'm wrong. And then she still said, oh, with all that, that's why pretty much she felt that way. She felt like you said it because of what some of the other things that you said. Even though you didn't directly say it, I pretty much felt that way.
Just pardon me real quick, and I'm gonna go black on my camera real quick.
No, don't do that, Rilla.
No, because I think this is important, because I think this is the second time there's a mischaracterization, and I noticed the lady
by me specifically.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And respectfully, because I noticed the lady.
Rilla. No. I don't need nobody.
Look at that. He really wasn't defending you. He's making a general point that you should have been making, Anton, actually, that these women didn't even correct her. Why? Because it's a sister code. They see what she's doing. And, Courtney, who, we just saw in the other clip, was, wanting to get on my man about her words being precise. she didn't say anything to this young girl or woman, whatever, about her words being precise, that she was wrong. But when it was, hey, you're wrong, you just can't get up here and say stuff and be wrong. That's why I'm playing these clips in this order, because now she's on another platform. She didn't keep that same energy with this girl. And then of course Kay and the rest of them, Kayla was gonna defend just to argue with Anton, and then Anton is cutting Rilla off, and he's actually making a point that would actually maybe make the panel run smoother.
I would like to hear that.
One at a time.
Don't speak for me.
That's my point. And that's
just let it be.
Hold on, Rilla.
That's not what I was doing.
Okay, Rilla, but
JR was wrong. He should have let Rilla continue. Anton, don't speak for me. Why? Rilla speaking for himself. He's not speaking for Anton. He didn't say I'm speaking for Anton.
Okay, Rilla, just let them have a conversation and then you can come in.
No, this conversation is over.
Hey, listen, if they're gonna have a conversation, I don't need to come in.
Right.
But
This
that's
is over.
not what I was doing, and that's not
what
what happened. And that's the second mischaracterization. And I just think it's interesting that the ladies nodded, because I said I'm trying to set the foundation, like, yo, you misquoting the brother. I didn't come in and Captain Save him or try and speak for him.
Rilla, you even entertaining this conversation is not necessary. We're not going to explain it. We're just gonna let it be.
What kind of mic is that?
Can I ask you something really quick, Anton?
Look at the
So
microphone.
you do identify as a black man?
Jay came in looking like Rick James.
Look how they talk. She asked a question. Anton heard it, but he just ain't gonna answer. But people are talking over her, so even if he was going to answer, he might not have heard it. Total chaos.
Not Rick James, Courtney.
What's going on, Jay?
Yeah, Lene, I don't think he wants to answer. He's in his feelings.
Okay.
So we're gonna move on.
All right.
We appreciate you.
Kayla.
Kayla, hold on.
Be careful.
Hold
Just
on.
relax. Just chill.
What's good, Jay?
Hold on.
That was it.
Seems
But
like you need to
All right,
relax.
Lene, appreciate you.
it's been
Thank
a
you.
great show.
All right, that's it. And I mean, total chaos. You know what I mean? So, and it's such a contrast to their other program, King Talk. I mean, when you have 5 men up there, and they're just talking, and there's no cutting each other off and all this. I mean, a total difference. I mean, and this is back to the point again of what Jessica X was saying, and that's why I chose that clip. When I saw it, I was like, oh dang, they actually agree with me. I was just gonna make the point that that they made in that particular clip, but I was like, here's 2 women that actually see things the same way that I see it, so I'm gonna use this. Now this other clip here comes from, I don't know. I've stumbled across this because I was looking for something from Judge Joe Brown, but I stumbled across this. Judge Joe Brown is on this particular show.
I was
The Real Dana. It's called the Man Up Hour, and that is ironic in itself that the Man Up Hour is on a woman's channel, right? The Man Up Hour is hosted and ran on a channel that's a woman's channel, right? So, but anyway, I was looking for something for Judge Joe Brown, and I came across this, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, wow, this is another example of what I was talking about here. You know what I mean? Like, men can't. So what we've seen so far, right? Men can't argue, and I say argue not in terms of bad, but you just state your point. You defend your position, I should say, right? They can't make a position and defend it. They can't make a statement and defend that position passionately, because if they do that, then they are being disrespectful, right? And then this is like total chaos on the panel when women are in charge of the panel. And here, this is going to be another one, but this is another one, right? And then what we also see that women change the dynamic when they're on the panel. Men will come up, bust up like Clark Kent, becoming Superman to try to defend a woman's honor, right? So we've seen these things in the first couple of clips here, and this is going to continue. This is just it's a nuance here that I want you to catch. And so there's going to be a caller that's going to call in, and he's going to, I guess, discuss what he does for a living, and it's going to go from there. So let's go ahead.
Yeah, I was in the movie called with Halle Berry and Vivica the bitch Fox. I was in that movie there.
Why you don't call her a bitch. We don't. That's
because you know why? Because that was,
and they curse on this show, and we know how Judge Joe Brown get down. Shout out to Judge Joe Brown. I like a lot of what Judge Joe Brown talks about. Right? We saw how he chopped up Mark Lamont Hill some months ago when he went on Mark Lamont Hill's show talking about when Cosby, the Supreme Court, Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned the conviction, right? Because there was a bogus conviction anyway, right? He should have never been tried, let alone convicted. And he wouldn't have been convicted if they wouldn't have had to do all the, unlawful things that they did in that particular case, right? So Judge Joe Brown was going off, right? He and if you've seen him on Kwame Brown live stream one time, talking about how Kamala Harris sucked and effed and so forth, her way up to the top. So Judge Joe Brown gives it, he's raw with it, right? So he'll say certain stuff. So you have Judge Joe Brown on this show, but here again, woman in charge, the dynamic changes. Gotta check this man. Don't call her a B. Why not? This is how he feels. If he met the woman and he's going to explain that he met her and worked with her, and this is his opinion of her.
Let me tell you something, right? I was what made me quit Hollywood was I was on a TV show called Short Guy. I don't know if you remember that little guy.
Don't, but just go ahead.
Okay, and now it was a Disney. It was a movie. It was a TV series. Okay, and the director set it up, and the way the director had set it up, right? He had two different scenes for the same scene. He had one scene where smart little guy was he had did something wrong.
Honey, can you get to the point? I don't want to care. I don't care about the scene. Why are you calling Vivica a bitch?
Now, I wouldn't have had no problem with her telling him get to the point. Stop rambling. I know sometimes when you're not used to being, making videos and stuff like that, because I did it. I was like, man, what the hell was I talking about? But anyway, she went right back to that whole thing about Vivica Fox. She just didn't like that.
Because Vivica, she kind of blew my chance. She had a show.
So you quit Hollywood because of a woman who blew your chance at the lead role in a show that nobody remembers, that probably didn't get picked up.
Go ahead and shame the brother, why don't you? But let's keep
because I was supposed to have been on her show.
I'm not sure.
I was supposed to have been on her show. I was supposed to have been on her show. I would have been the I guess you could say the leading man. No, the end of my Hollywood career was with Smart Guy. Smart Guy was a young guy.
So then why are you calling her a bitch? Like, you should be calling a whole bunch of other people a bitch who didn't give you a role. Like, don't just single her. Because you know what I don't like? I didn't have it. Wait, pause for a second, caller. And
okay, and here comes the other thing that what I've been seeing, and this is the thing that made me turn off some women's channels, right? This whole thing of coming in and dictating to what you're tired of men doing, that gets me. I'm like, okay, I can't. I don't want to hear that, especially in a space, and you want to talk to black men, and you. So here again, it's that, big mama syndrome, where okay, we're gonna tell you how to act. I'm so tired of hearing this. I'm so tired of men saying this. Well, why are you in men's spaces? That's what I don't get. You're so tired of hearing men say this or that, you know, hearing men say simp, hearing men say alpha, beta, and let's see what else she's gonna say. This is the other dynamic that, you know, this is where it goes off the rail. Totally different than the Chez Charde and Jessica X clip that I played at the beginning. Totally different.
I'm not just coming out at you. I'm coming after like all men.
See, all men. And then there's men on the panel. It didn't check this.
Because a friend of mine, Minister Jab, he is a friend of mine, and he did a show today. He had 22 people in his on his live, right? But the thing is, I'm not mad at him because of his content. I'm mad at the 2,200 people that cheer that shit on. Like, people want to sit up here and constantly complain about Black women. And I'm specifically talking about Black women and, you know, this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, wow, why are you as a man so emotional and so concerned about what a woman is doing or not doing? Like, stop doing that. So you was calling her bitch.
Okay, see, and what sense does that make? You're not upset at Minister Jap for what he's saying. You're upset at the 2,200 men that were cheering him on? What kind of sense does that make? And it's only because they were friends. She said that they are friends. So how can you be upset at the people who follow him when he's the one propagating the message? That makes absolutely no sense. You see, this is where we go off the road or off the rails here. You know, I was about to say women going rogue. Thinking about that Bill Burr clip. When women argue, they go rogue, right? But it's going off the rails here with that. That's illogic. That's not logic. That's illogic. That, okay, I'm not upset with Minister Jap because he's my friend, but I'm upset with all the people that follow him and listen to him. Well, guess what? Guess who wouldn't listen to Minister Jap if Minister Jap wasn't talking? That makes no sense. If Minister Jap if he wasn't producing content, there would be no 2,200 men in Minister Jap's live stream listening to him. Make it make sense. It makes no sense. But here again, you know, she's stuck on and then of course shame them about why are you worried and concerned about what women do. What did Chez Charde say? She's a heterosexual woman, so it's going to concern her what's going on with heterosexual men, Black men in particular, because that's who she's, you know, that's what she's married. But if she was looking to date, that's who she'd be looking to date. So obviously each side affects the other side. So if we're doing something, obviously women want to know and understand what we're doing and what we want and so forth. It's the same thing on the other side. If that's who we primarily want to date, or even if it's just, okay, we want our community to get better, then I'm gonna be kind of concerned with what's going on with you know, the other side. I'm gonna be concerned with what's going on with women. But you know, you'll get up here and, you know, preach to this man or chastise this dude, but then Minister Jab is your friend. Why don't you just talk to Jab? You know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense.
You don't. Well, it doesn't even matter. The fact is that you're older now, and you still calling her a bitch because she said, "Oh, he's in my light." But see, okay, so Vivica isn't a bitch. Why are you at your grown age now still referring to this woman?
Why is he at his grown age? All shaming. I don't understand why brothers do this to themselves. It's no way I would subject myself to that. Like, I mean, I would. I mean, you're gonna go up on a woman's platform. At least watch her content first to see how she conducts herself when men come up, and especially if the man challenges her on something, like they have a difference of opinion on something, and he pushes back on something that she's saying. Not the echo chamber dudes that, you know, that some women have in their on their panels, right? But you know, the dudes who push back, right? So now watch the energy change when Judge Joe Brown starts speaking.
Woman as a bitch.
What he's saying is this, that, yeah, the public persona of the people that you hold up as celebrities does not always match their private persona. And
they
some
are human
people,
beings.
No,
He's human.
some people that
Wait,
you know.
Wait, see, the women are human beings, but the man ain't. So he got to be with his grown self. He still can't feel some kind of way about something. You know, he might not have gotten over it. Is it something that is important to me or you or whatever? Maybe not, but for him, it is. Okay, he hadn't gotten over it. It is what it is. He's a human being.
Privately or on the set are real nice people. Matt Damon's one of them. Samuel Jackson is one of them. And then there are other people who
Halle
are
Berry
not,
is one of them.
Yeah, but there are other people that are very difficult to get along with. Now, Vivica Fox used to like my ex-wife. They meshed, so I never had any problems with her in terms of the way she came across to me. But some other people, no, they weren't very nice.
Okay, but the thing is, honestly, at the same time, maybe Vivica, like sometimes as a woman, and especially in Hollywood and entertainment industry, you come across a lot of creeps. There's a lot of people try to take advantage of you, whether it's your money or whatever, sexual harassment or whatever. So, I mean, okay, she said that one thing, and she probably, you know, maybe she was on a rag. Who knows?
She was on the rag. Can you believe this? Can you hear these excuses and so forth? She was on the rag. I mean, the excuses, it's always going to go back to that feminist stuff for the most part, depending. I shouldn't say always, right? Depending on who it is, it's going to go back to that feminist stuff, right? I mean, this is why if you're going to get up on these panels, man, definitely vet the woman and the channel before you get up there, because this is going to that feminist thing.
Well, for you to be a whole grown man now, you've been out of Hollywood for over 20 years. You still referring to her
still mad, David.
That's what I'm saying. And so I'm just taking your.
I like Brother George Megan, but man, don't egg that on, brother. You should be like, hey, man, the brother can be upset. He can still be upset.
Brother was a bitch that day.
Right.
I'm still taking your stories. I'm taking your story, not you as a person. I'm not just zoning on you, but I'm taking your story of there are hundreds and thousands of men out here that listen to these content creators that badger black women because your butt hurt about a woman that did not
put that on him, though, Dana.
No.
Thank you, George. Don't put that on him.
I'm not talking about him.
All women. I said specifically her, Dana. Specifically her.
No, sir. No. Slow down. 551. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you specifically.
Yes,
I'm talking about the thousands of men that listen to content creators and cheer them on and sending hundreds of dollars of donations every time they do a live show because they're upset.
Hey, well, I tell you what, though, Dana, those women channels is bigger than the guy channels. The women channels be huge.
See, and this is what, and see, George's energy comes in, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, I think some dudes get up here and be afraid to just say what it is, and George, he's not that way. George Macon, hey, brother has a channel too. I like his content.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm gonna get in their ass, and that's what I'm gonna also talk about next year. Not the but I don't have a problem with the content creators, and you know why? Because they are giving people what they want. They're not telling you the truth.
No, I have a problem with content creators because this is like people that sell crack. There are people that sell crack cocaine, and there are people that sell mind crack. And
they're giving them their fix.
About as bad. Yeah.
They
don't have to do that. They don't have to.
But you know that's entertainment, Judge.
So she excusing the content creator, but putting it all on the people who listen to the content creator. So like the chicken or the egg argument, right? I mean, my goodness, if the content creators didn't create content, nobody would listen to it. So then you wouldn't have those men cheering it on. I don't understand where she's coming from, but see,
they don't have to do that.
Is a new cable.
If some of the people that produced this stuff, wrote this stuff, wouldn't, there might be a different thing out there.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, we're counting them down here, man. I mean, it's like I said, depending on the channel and the person, it could be a real headache. And obviously men are going to decide what they want to listen to, and that's not my purpose of this. It's just to go through some of the issues that I see with, with toxic women, and I call them toxic women in the manosphere. Just, the we're always being called toxic, so let's reclaim that word, if you will. But I'm gonna get to the last clip here, and this comes from I was disappointed in my boy King here. Hold on. Matter of fact, Daryl was in the chat. Daryl's right in the middle, right up on the King. King has on the this comes from conversations with King, and I like King. I first saw him on the Lapeef network or whatever, and though I didn't agree with all of the things that he was saying or what have you, I like the brother's energy. I liked and so I was happy to see the brother got his own channel or what have you. And I don't know, it was just by happenstance that I was on YouTube that night, because I didn't know he was even going live. And he had El Guapo, who has the blue background there. And so I pulled up, and they might have been an hour in already. And all right, so me, I always have to do my background. This is why it takes so long to do some of these live streams, because it's so much. I like to have a good understanding of what's going on in a particular thing, because I pulled up, and Beautiful Eyes, which is in the blue, El Guapo, and the brother in the middle, Daryl Long. I guess some stuff was said back and forth between the two in terms of video. I think El Guapo did a video, and he caught his woman, he caught his girlfriend or his fiance, I don't know, wife, maybe texting some other dude or something, or ex, something to that effect. And I think there was I think Brother King did a live stream talking about it or what have you. I couldn't find that video that El Guapo did or whatever. And I didn't listen to all of the video, the original live stream. It was just too long, but I kind of got the context by looking at this one here, right? So Daryl said something about, I guess he would be able to take, or pull El Guapo's girl or whatever. And I guess he was invited to the live stream so they can have the discussion, and I'm all for brothers having the discussion if they had some kind of issue. I wish this probably was I wish this probably would have been done maybe like on a Patreon live, and it would have just been the two brothers, maybe King mediating, and then the two brothers chopping it up and hashing out whatever differences. And look, we don't have to all be best friends in the space or whatever, but we should be able to resolve conflict if possible. I mean, if not, then just obviously just, all right, well, look, I'm not gonna say anything about you. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just definitely not gonna disrespect your family, whatever it is, whatever. And I think that's what happened with King being on the Lapeef network. I think that I guess Anton felt that something that he said was directed at his wife or whatever. But whatever. And from what I think, what King said, I think they hashed it out, so that's good on their parts. But I was disappointed with him in this portion or a portion of this clip that I'm going to play here with King, because I hold him. This is his platform. He's totally responsible for this one. But it isn't about these two brothers working out their issues in public. All right, fine. The brother's gonna work it out in public. All right, be whatever it is. But let me get to the clip here. I'm gonna just, and what I'm focusing on in particular in this clip is the women that are on the panel. Now, the woman down at the bottom is what is her name? Mosaic with TJ Randolph, right? And I don't know much about TJ. I see her pop in and out of different panels here and there on different channels. I've seen her on Courtney's. I've seen her, I think, on the Lead Attorney. But I haven't really dug into any of her content or what have you. But anyway, so that's who I'm focusing on. The women that's going to be on the panel. There's another woman that's going to come on the panel. And I'm going to talk about what I see here.
Resolutions.
Well, Ms. Jim, whether I should be here, should not be here, I am here.
Okay.
Resolutions.
Let me say this. She's actually talking to the other woman who's going to come up on the panel. That woman's name is Janicia Garcia, what have you. That's who she's talking to. So I'm going to start it again here.
Well, Ms. Jim, whether I should be here, should not be here, I am here.
Right.
And I chose to be here.
Wait, TJ. TJ. TJ, I get it. Don't look at the chat. That's on the block with chat.
Man. How are some people held accountable and others not held accountable?
No, you know why, Guapo? Let me tell you why, Guapo.
I hope I'm being
Mr. O,
because I care about you. I care about you.
TJ, I understand that, but check this out. I'm going to answer Mr. Guapo's question. You said,
okay. Now, did you see that dynamic there? And like I said, I don't know TJ, and I don't know people personally. I'm just talking about the behavior here. So, as the host was talking, she was arguing with someone in the chat. And I was sitting up here like, wait a minute, why? I don't understand. Like, I'm gonna keep going. Let me let King make his point. Then I'm gonna
everybody used to be held accountable, right? But Mr. Guapo and TJ, you the two people on this stage, right? Besides Love Crossing Borders and the Petty Inquisitor, that promote working together, sustainability, and peace. And so your reaction, TJ, where you reacted to Jen is totally opposite of what you were preaching.
You're right, and I received that.
And then, and also Guapo,
I received that, and I admit when I'm wrong. And you're right.
And then
now look at what she did there, and that comes with wisdom. So I appreciated her for doing this. So when King called out, and he called out very smooth, straight to the point. Hey, you're about peace. But then, boom, you get up here, and then what happened to peace? And she said, I received that. I can admit that's an admirable trait, right? Even though she was talking over him and arguing with someone in the chat or whatever, at least when the host said something and what he said held her accountable and corrected her, she took it. That's what you did. That's the kind of thing that you need to see, right? Let me keep going.
Guapo, yours too. The reason why I have to hold accountable because first of all, she just got monetized, TJ, so she knows what she wants to do and she's focused. And Jen just got monetized. They both in the same thing, so they could compete and see the best lady win. But for her, she just said women know how to communicate better, and she went out.
Right.
So he got some straightened. So. That's effective handling of the panel right there, and I like that. But he said something, they can compete. They don't have to compete. It's enough out here for everybody. And they might not, I don't even think they're in the same lane, honestly. I mean, I think TJ's older than Jen, and, I just don't think they're in the same from what I could see. I don't believe they're in the same. Jen is Hispanic, Latina, whatever. And TJ's a black woman, older. She's probably, I think she's in the baby boomer generation. She's past Generation X, and I think Jen is in Generation X, but I could be wrong. But anyway, so let's keep going here.
Right.
So that's why I had to check her. And that's only respect. Right. So Guapo, and also be honest with you, I gotta defend Jen. You know why? Because I'm loyal to Jen like you're loyal to TLA.
I don't know Jen, man. I don't have
I know her. I don't know TLA, but I know Jen.
I don't know her, man.
I know, but I'm saying I have to defend her because I'm loyal to her like you are to TLA. That's
But the difference, King, though, he didn't defend TLA. Not that I saw it. I didn't. Well, I think I stopped watching after he was gone. I think not too long after this, but he didn't defend TLA. He just said TLA was his mentor, from what I could see on this particular. Now maybe he defended him somewhere else that I didn't see it. So that there's a possibility, but at least for this live stream, I didn't see it.
Right. All I know, you gotta respect that, right? I have a strong desire,
right?
Strong desire,
right,
to keep a heavy foot on Darrell Long's neck.
If you want to know,
let me finish, TJ. Hold on 1 second.
Focus on me.
TJ,
hold on,
man.
TJ,
TJ, please give me this. Give me this. Give me this.
What was TJ saying? She said,
"Get my dick out your mouth, bro."
If I'll come here when Lapeef returns. I haven't been on Lapeef in months.
Yeah, that's a fact. Okay, now
I have a strong desire.
Right.
Darrell, you're gonna have to learn this lesson the hard way, man.
Oh God.
So here's what I suggest. and I submit to you humbly.
Yo, wait, that's funny. King was like, oh God, he's going back at Daryl again, because I don't know how long this was into the live, but no matter what topic they were on, El Guapo brought it back to Daryl. Hey, I'm gonna stay on Daryl's neck, or whatever he just said. So that's why they said that. It's like 2-something hours or whatever of him just kind of going at Daryl or whatever. Let's keep going.
And I'm cool with the no, man. I can take your no. Can we televise this? Darrell, we could debate on my channel.
Bro, I don't televise gangster shit, bro.
However
Pull
you
up
want to
and
do
what
it.
you want to do,
but here's
bro.
the bottom line.
I don't televise
Let me finish my thought. Give me 15 seconds to finish my thought, man.
No, fuck you, bro.
Now, the two brothers, Love Crossing Borders and Rico Young, were up there to talk about. I think this was Why Do Black Men Love Non-Black Women. That was the title of the live stream. So they were actually brought on the panel to talk about why black men love non-black women, because they're both married to non-black women. So they want to get to the topic, and they don't get to the topic for like 2.5 to 3 hours or something like that into the live.
You can do the same with me the whole day, bro.
Yeah, that's
you're 60 years old and you've been on this bitch acting like a fucking young
60.
A young
yes, I'm 60. You should be able to whip my tail, bro.
All right.
I'm gonna skip. I want to jump to. I mean, the language is getting ready. I'm just going to tell you right now. The language is going to get off the hook from in this particular one. So apologize. Apologies. It is what it is. I'm struggle streaming. I don't know how to bleep out the all the curse words, but I want you to hear it in context. We're all adults. We've heard these words before, so it is what it is.
Yes, I'm 60.
From now on, when we thought, listen, we're gonna talk about the topic.
I'm 60.
Anybody that goes off a topic is getting kicked off. So we're gonna start on a topic. I'm just
Guapo, we got core values. I know you do. I know
listen,
integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do.
King is losing control of the panel too, by the way. Just FYI. I mean, the people are talking over. I was like, "Yo, King, come on, man!" As sharp as he seemed in certain aspects, he was losing control of the panel here.
I'm going to be excellent. Service foot on Darrell's neck, bro. You don't know who you mess with, man.
Service before self.
Mr. O, brother. Whoever gets off the topic, I gotta kick them off the show.
Mr. O is right.
That's it. You ready? Let's go. Thank you.
Okay, so now making a note here that they're trying to get on topic and stay on topic. They're trying to actually get to the topic. Let me rephrase. They're actually trying to get to the topic. Again, the topic is why do black men love non-black women? So they've established anybody gets off topic, they're getting kicked off. I just want to bring that to you. I want to highlight that. Now watch what happens here.
So the topic is, why do black men love non-black women? And I'm talking, oh God.
Okay, now you see what he does there. He's like, oh gosh, he knows something drama is about to come. He knows it, right? Look at it. Look, I'm paused there. Look at his face. So now why does he do what he does next, right? He's going to be very transparent and clear about why he did it, right? I respect that. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I respect it. Okay, so see who pops up in the chat, right? Lower right hand corner. Jen pops up on the pops up in the chat.
What's up, everybody?
Jen, I was about to stop the topic, Jen. I was about to stop the topic, Jen.
See, but you didn't have to bring Jen up. It's your platform. You control the platform. So you know how Jen is going to get down. And I'm going to give some background on Jen and once this plays so you can see what I'm talking about here.
We got them mad out here in these streets.
I'll be brief. I will be brief, I promise, because I can't stay on. I will be brief. Where's TJ? Did she leave?
I think she left.
Okay. I wanted.
Apologize.
Huh?
She apologized. She was wrong.
No, I didn't listen. I'm not about to disrespect that woman, and I didn't mean it disrespectfully. It's just an observation that I make. And I said it way earlier, way before she got on the panel. I said it earlier. I said it seems like a lot of these panels are webcam gangsters. And then older people who come in and say, no, we want peace. Let's kumbaya. Stop doing this. And I just think that the two groups don't match. So it was just an observation, not that she's not allowed her opinion, but I think it's disingenuous when you frequent these panels, you see the drama, you subscribe, you unsubscribe, you subscribe, you unsubscribe, you claim you don't want the drama.
Now, that ain't me. If I unsubscribe, I'm done. Like, there's, like I said, if I see something on, if I see a clip somewhere, and I want to just use it to discuss it, I'll do that. But I don't watch the content. Once I'm gone, I'm gone. Like if I'm like, all right, well, I can't take this content anymore, then that's it.
You claim it's horrible, but you frequent these spaces and you keep coming back. And to Guapo, I don't know you either. I don't care about you or your blue wall. I don't care about TLA. But let me check you on something real quick. You said, I don't think TLA will work with her. Right? TLA is your mentor, not mine. I had an actual father.
I'm sorry.
Okay? I had an actual father. I don't know what your relationship with TLA is or why you look up to him or what he's doing for you, what you're doing for him.
That's the shaming tactic. She was like, El Guapo said TLA, the lead attorney, in case anybody knows what I'm talking about, the lead attorney is his YouTube mentor, right? The lead attorney has established YouTube elementary channel to where he's teaching people how to grow their YouTube channels, right? If you have a YouTube channel and you're trying to grow it, or if you don't have a YouTube channel and you want to start one, he actually mentors you in that regard. And that's what El Guapo said. But then she likened it like to, well, I had a real father. I don't. All the shaming tactics coming in already. And this panel was about men, black men loving non-black women. I didn't even understand why women were actually on the panel before the men actually spoke about the topic. So it's weird, you know, but this is all King. King owns this. This is King's responsibility here.
But I had an actual father, so I don't have any mentors on YouTube. Okay, my father was my actual mentor. So it was just silly to me.
He said YouTube mentor, not mentor in life, but on YouTube. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with having a YouTube mentor, just like you have a business mentor or a mentor at some type of job that you work at. And like doctors, even though they're doctors, they have to do a residency, which is basically mentoring in that particular field, right? You can't be out on your own and practicing unless, even though you're certified as a doctor, you've gone through, you have to go through a residency, and that's mentorship. There's nothing wrong with that. And black men definitely don't be ashamed of having a mentor, right? But it depends on what type of mentor, right? You don't want the fresh and fit mentor that's out here saying, okay, we're gonna mentor you and teach you game and how to get women, and we see all of the stuff that they're going through, right? That's not the type of mentor that you want. You want the type of mentor in terms of, okay, you've seen him, he's in business, he's ran successful businesses, he can show his work. And in terms of YouTube, the lead attorney he's shown his work, right? he probably had one of the fastest growing channels in 2021 in this particular space, right? In terms of Black YouTube. I don't think maybe somebody grew faster than him, but I don't know of one. But nonetheless, so he can tell you about the mistakes that he's making. And I think that brother said it up there, like all the mistakes that the lead attorney is making, in which he admits, and he's telling people he made mistakes. So you can learn from people's mistakes. You can also learn from their successes. You can learn from both.
It was just silly to me when you said, I don't think he'll work with her. I blocked TLA the first time he disrespected me. The first time. So I know you're used to seeing in these YouTube circles, you know, people hang out with people they don't like. You came up here to get it, Daryl. The bullshit about we got to work together and black men and let me teach you this and you full of shit. You came up here to get it, Darrell. He is under your skin. We can all.
I'm sorry. I've been calling the brother Daryl. She said Darrell and she said Daryl. So I'm not sure exactly which way to pronounce the brother's name. Apologies.
See it. I don't know what you think that people are seeing, but we can all see this young man who's about 30 years younger than you got under your skin really, really bad. And that's what we're watching. Right. We're watching you unravel about a comment that someone you claim is short, too young to fuck with you, got under your skin. Like, you're not low. We can all see what you're doing. Every 2 seconds, you're trying to get at this man that supposedly is beneath you. You know what I do when people are beneath me? I block them and they never see me again. Like TLA, like the lady attorney. I block him.
See, now I agree with Jen on that part. You know, that if you know, and I don't think anybody's beneath me or anything like that, but I get the point that she was making. Like, if I'm not rocking with somebody, then, you know, I just block them and keep it pushing, right? You know, except for on Twitter, right? I mute people on Twitter because Twitter trolls are weird. They get this weird satisfaction out of getting blocked. It's like it's some type of win for them. So I just mute them and keep it pushing. So they can continue to talk and say whatever they want to say. I'll never see it. But then they don't get the satisfaction of saying, hey, he blocked me. So I agree with her to a certain extent at that point. Now they're calling him, let me say this here before it gets to give further background. And like I said, I had to do digging because I didn't understand. I don't keep up with YouTube beefs, so I don't necessarily know. I just remember seeing this one on the lead attorney's channel. Okay, so Jen on the block with Jen down there. She actually came up on the lead attorney's panel. And they had a back and forth, kind of screaming, involved or whatever. And he wound up kicking her off the platform. All right. And King doesn't rock with the lead attorney either. And from what I can understand, it has something to do with not necessarily, I guess, per se to do with Lauren, the girl that we saw earlier on the clip that I played by IamCourtneyMichelle. I guess her and the lead were kind of, I don't know what they had going on, but maybe they was trying to establish something, whatever. And King was on her show or whatever, on her channel, and he just, you know, being King, hey, you know, hey, we going out or whatever or something. Or was it? No, he said, is it me or the lead attorney? Something to that effect. But I don't know if that's where the beef started. This is just what I was able to track down to give you guys context, right? And so she kind of waffled, and then I guess the lead attorney was on her talking about it on his stream, on one of his streams, and he said something to the effect of, well, damn, if you can't, knowing what they was trying to establish, if she can't just speak up and say, with me, between me and him, and then he said, he kind of used the thing of, I'm Fogo de Chao and he's Burger King or something to that effect, and King took offense. So trying to give y'all background, right? Like I said, I ain't into the whole YouTube beef, whatever stuff, right? So that's kind of the background. So I don't know about the rest of the brothers on the panel, whether or not they rock with the lead attorney. I can't chase down all that. So I'm just giving you context with Jen and King, right? About why whatever issue they have with the lead attorney.
And they never see me again. So I'm just on the outside looking in. I'm like, he's full of shit. Can't anybody see this? We can all see this. We're all saying the same thing in the chat. You came up here to get a Darrell, yet he's younger than you and shorter than you, and he can't get your woman, and you're a killer because you killed people. My father went to jail for murder too. What are you saying? Everybody bleeds. So I just wanted to say that above 6 feet. Let me just say this, and then like I said, I'm not going to stay.
Hey, but don't leave, man.
I'm not going to stay.
Don't drop the mic.
I'm not going to stay. Are you going to talk over me? Or you going to, because you've been barking for like 2 hours.
Drop the mic and leave. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. Over 6 feet, men bleed. Under 6 feet, men bleed. Okay. And I find myself saying this over and over again on panels. All the gangsters are on YouTube now. They're not in the street no more. They're all on YouTube talking about taking flights. You ain't going nowhere. I don't care what war you've been through. I don't care. Oh, I'm X this, I'm X that. You are not getting on a flight, ruining your life to go chase down some Darrell. So
no, I agree with that part. None of doing any of that kind of stuff. I mean, I've had people do that. Say that kind of stuff to me and then be too broke to want to fly to where I was at or whatever. And it's like, hey man, you pull up to my city. It's like, wait a minute, you want to fight me or whatever. Which is silly. But then you're too broke to even say you want to fly to where I'm at. That makes no sense. But like she said, nobody should be doing that kind of silliness. I mean, over something that somebody said over the internet. Nobody should be doing that kind of thing.
Stop the BS. Stop the capping. We see you. You mad because what he said about your woman. You feeling a certain way about your woman, but I'm letting you know, as a mature person, you're looking dumb up here arguing with someone you claim is 30 years old and 5'8". You look dumb. You look dumb. Like you came here to defend. Listen, you came here to defend TLA.
Come on, wrap it up, buddy.
You came here to defend TLA, and you came here to get a direct.
Oh, okay, so Darrell did that too. Like, but I understand. I understand the context of Darrell saying it. She said Darrell. I'm sorry, brother, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I understand the context he did it because they've been beefing this whole 2 hours, right? So that's the context of why he said that. They've been particularly, and I like what El Guapo does too, right? Like I'm not into beef, but El Guapo was talking over the brother. He couldn't stress his point, or he couldn't make his point, and it was just going back and forth. This is why I said it. I think it would have been better handled if it was on like a Patreon or something like that. If they would have did that, but it wasn't public. But anyway, I'll again, you'll understand why it is public.
Well, listen. Look at what you're doing today. Look at what you're doing today. You came here to defend TLA and get a Darrell. You looking like a cornball right now.
Oh my goodness, Jen, can I ask you something?
So you don't know me. I don't know you.
I can't ask you anything. I'll shut up. Go ahead, man. You got it. I'm shut up. You got your grand scan. Go ahead.
Okay, so you don't know me and I don't know you, but I'm just making an observation.
I don't know anything about you. I have nothing against you.
Okay, but you came. Yeah, I know. But since you're sucking TLA, you were trying to talk about me.
You said what?
Because you're sucking TLA, you were trying to talk about me.
Oh, young lady, check your fucking mouth. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
You're right. You're right.
His dick and I
my bad. Wait. My bad. You're right.
Talking to?
Wait, Guapo, you're right. Let me finish.
Huh?
You're
no,
right. I apologize. Wait a minute. Let me apologize.
Who are you talking about sucking? Who are you talking to?
Okay, let me apologize.
Look at that poor brother up there in the corner. Love crossing borders. I know that brother's up there probably like, man, what the hell am I? Why am I here? Every time I see his face, I'm like, bro.
Talking to?
Let me apologize.
Huh? Who are you talking to? This is not a game. I don't give a damn if you're a woman or a man.
Okay, Okay, let me apologize. Fuck you and fuck PLA, and you came here to suck them.
Okay, now, see, King, now this is the part. I'm going to say it right now because when I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute. you're a black man, you have a black channel, yet you allow a Latino woman to totally disrespect another black man, even if you got beef with him. Like, why? I don't understand that. Like, and this is the last issue that I've seen in this manosphere space. He may say he's not in the manosphere. I don't know, but he's in the space because he's talking to black men. He's talking about black relationships, talking to black women. He's on this side of YouTube, right? And then his name was linked with Lapeef Network, and you know, he is with some people that were, I think, what's her name, Tawana. She was on the Lapeef Network, and then, you know, he knows other people that's, you know, back and forth. Whether when he was on was that King Talk, you know, Shannon, a brother named Shannon. So he's in this. The algorithm is going to hit. He's in the space, right? YouTube puts he's in the space, the Black Manosphere space, right? But a black man allowing someone and he muted El Guapo. I'm guessing because El Guapo was talking, but you couldn't hear anything. But he allowed her to continue to speak and disrespect the man like that, even if you got beef with him. But he wasn't afraid to come on the platform and discuss the issue, whatever issue he had. But, you know, I just thought this was a very bad look. It's a bad look for men. Any man doing this, a black man doing this, allow black men to just be disrespected on his platform by women or another race of woman or another race of man or whatever. No, come on, that's not cool at all.
You got that? You came here to suck them. So fuck you and fuck TLA. Keep my father's name out your mouth and keep me out your mouth.
Yeah, he's muted.
You're an old bitch who came here to get at Darrell and defend TLA. Worry about how many subscribers you got. You look dumb. Worry about what your wife is doing, or whoever you fuck, your mail order bride.
Holding hands.
Worry about your mail order bride. Worry about your mail order bride. Don't worry about me.
It doesn't matter.
Don't worry about me.
Let me tell you something, Shorty. I don't care if you're a Puerto Rico or Dominican. It doesn't freaking matter. Watch your mouth. Don't play with a man like that. I'm not playing with you. Shut your mouth.
Y'all are feminazis. Y'all are feminazis. Y'all are feminazis.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's cool.
Stop sucking the lady
how about you
County. What the fuck you gonna do about it? Get on a flight.
See, okay.
Motherfuckers over 6 feet bleed, and the ones under 6 feet bleed. Fuck out of here. Don't mention my father ever. You greasy fuck. You sitcoms. You fucking 80s sitcom looking bitch.
Okay. All right. So King was stating earlier, people were cursing, whatever. I think it was El Guapo, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm monetized, and you know I don't want the video to be demonetized or whatever." All right, but that went all out the window here. So he didn't keep the same energy here.
The fuck you think you are? You've been going at Darrell for 2 fucking hours like a fucking psychopath. Get over it. Get over it. You fucking cornball. So like I was saying, it seems like there's 2 demographics that mix on these panels that do not mix. So that's the only observation I was making.
Yeah,
so I'm definitely not
going
to disrespect.
Come on with it. Yeah, you are going to disrespect. You disrespected his channel.
You're a cornball. Shut the fuck up.
Come on, Grandma.
Shut the fuck up.
Come on, Grandma. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give me that.
See, okay, see, like that. All that Jen did. But he kicks El Guapo off, right? I mean, El Guapo he was getting kicked off earlier. I mean, obviously, if that was me, I wouldn't have come back. If you're gonna kick me off and you know we want to try to have the conversation, then I wouldn't have came back, right? And but you know, El Guapo was muted for the most part, and you know, it was Jen screaming and cursing and, you know, calling this dude everything. And he just allowed it. It's a bad look. I mean, it's
like TLA gives it to you? Like TLA gives it to you? I bet you a bottom too.
I mean, she's still screaming. It's crazy.
Fuck out of here. I'm sick of these motherfuckers. He been going at Darrell for 2 hours straight and ain't nobody fucking stopping him. Fuck out of here. So like I was saying, I didn't come up here to
all right, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. I can't remember exactly where it is. This seems like this thing has a lot to go. But I'll say this. Jen, in terms of, let me see, black Twitter spaces, black YouTube spaces, I think it might have been 2019. I can't remember exactly when it was, 2020, 2019 or something like that, whatever. I couldn't find it. She said she kept it up, but I couldn't find it on her Instagram. She made some post about black people wearing their blackness as a scab. And Tariq Nasheed, he saw that video and kind of, I guess, reacted to it, and you know, he had some things to say. She pulled up onto his live stream, and it was pretty much the same thing that we're hearing here on his live stream. They were kind of arguing back and forth, and and it just, you know, totally unproductive conversation, kind of like what we're seeing here. But that's when at least she got on my radar, because I was like, wait a minute, is this the same girl that was with Tariq? And then of course, you know, doing the research, it was like, okay, yeah, it is the same girl. When I saw her on the lead attorney spot, I was like, wait a minute, that's the same girl that Tariq was arguing with her some time ago. And then it was like, yeah, that's the same girl or whatever. But anyway, let me try to fast forward this here.
disrespect TJ, because I understand.
Finish up the stream and we'll talk tomorrow. I got you.
Hello, Claire.
Yeah, I'm gonna fast.
I also want you to answer where you didn't.
Yeah,
right.
Cool.
Hey, can I take a piss? May I be excused to take a piss? I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Let me keep going here.
This is just
okay. Here we go. So yeah, he kicked him off again. Yeah.
With all due respect.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. I'm serious.
Right.
Hey, Andre, nice talking to you again, brother.
You too, brother.
This is just too much.
This is
King. You can't say it's too crazy when you controlling it. I mean, come on, King. Yeah, I mean, that was Rico and the brother was sitting patiently waiting for hours, which I wouldn't have done too. Hey, man, look, time is precious, man. If we're not gonna talk about the topic, all right, man, we'll do it again some other time. You know, brothers, protect your time too. I mean, you don't have to sit and I wouldn't have done that. Come on, I mean, like, let's get to it. Let's be about it. But I felt bad for them two brothers, but they shouldn't have sat there.
It's too much.
And all I'm saying is, with all due respect,
right?
I thought the topic was about what you described.
I'm trying to get to the topic.
I know.
No. Don't let him off the hook. It's King's platform. He could have controlled that. He could have cut that conversation off with El Guapo and Darrell a long time ago. He didn't have to let Jen up. He controls that space. I mean, this is his platform. So as a man, you can't cop out and be like, well, yeah, I'm trying to get to the topic. No, just get to the topic. Now, they can have their issues with the lead attorney. But honestly, the lead attorney, his show or when he runs his platform is not chaos. It's not unorganized. You know, and he's had multiple people up at the same time. And people, they don't overtalk each other. You know, they don't cut each other off. You know, it's not all this chaos. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes these spaces are real. That's why I said it was toxic, right? The spaces can be toxic, like some of these channels and some of these panels and platforms and live streams. Like, man. So as a man, you have to own that. Like, no, you're not trying to get to the topic. You didn't want to get to the topic because clearly you could have kicked any one of them off and said, hey, look, we're starting the topic right now. And that's just what it's going to be because it's your platform. So King got to own that. He can't say I was trying. No, you wasn't trying.
great for the topic too. He great for the topic.
Finish? And I don't want to tell you how to run your channel. I don't do
what you are. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I'm just saying. Right. I know based on looking at the panel, I believe only myself and Andre is having that lived experience.
No, I think Andre.
Who else is married?
Love Crossing Borders. He actually lives in Colombia right now.
He's married. I'm married. Who else is married?
I've been married.
No. Who else is married and married to a non-black woman? That's all I'm asking. Other than me and Andre.
Only them two brothers, right? So King is about to say why he let this go on like this. Let's hear it.
I have been.
Currently. So all I'm saying is we've sat here for the better part of close to over 2 hours.
And we're gonna get to it right now.
And that's all I'm saying.
Okay, listen. So check this out. Check this out. I wanted to stop this a long time ago, but the Cash Apps was coming in, baby.
Well,
I never got this much money by sitting still.
Numbers.
You see right there. So King was honest, right? The Cash Apps was coming in. He never got that many Cash Apps or donations or whatever. And okay, he respect. He said it what it was. Hey, like I said earlier, drama sells, right? Drama sells, unfortunately, and then you can't have a constructive conversation because he probably wouldn't have got that if he just had the conversation with the brother Rico and the other brother Love Crossing Borders, right? He probably wouldn't have got as many Cash Apps and that kind of stuff if it had just been those two brothers discussing the topic. You know what I mean? Unfortunate that our people thrive on the negativity. So then he allowed that negativity to continue to flourish, right? That's just unfortunate there for that, because like I said, I like some of what King's energy, what he was on in terms of when he was over at Lapeef, and then I stumbled onto his channel and was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I said, the algorithm just I'm just looking, and I'm like, wait a minute, King got it. I'm like, okay, cool. I wonder what I didn't even know he was off the Lapeef like that, because I wasn't watching him really like that. I would watch the King talk more than the regular Lapeef Let's Talk because of the chaos. But it was good to see him have his own channel or whatever. But anyway, those are the clips there. And you see, it depends on who it is and who's running the it depends on who's running the platform and the women that are coming up, that whether or not it's going to be toxic or not. But so just to get to the final points, let me see. I'm gonna do this. I could talk about this. So yeah, just to get back to the point here. So I'm gonna just let this rock out. And so these are some of the content creators that the algorithm has put on my radar. And there's probably some of the females, some of the women that are Manosphere adjacent and so forth. And I'll go through each one of them in just a second, but I just want to reiterate in terms of some of the things that we're seeing, right? So overall, should we, there's no, like I said, again, there's no stopping women from being over in this space, right? So that's the first thing. So all the people who were complaining about women being in the space, there's nothing that you could do to stop them from being in the space. You know, it is what it is. All the women have, you know, can set up a YouTube channel, grab a mic and a camera, and start producing content and start sharing their opinion, right? Now, it is up to the men to determine who they are going to support and what content they're going to support, whether it's negative or positive or whatever. It'll be determined. And again, it'll be determined if men actually want content produced by men for men, or do you want content produced by women for men, you know, black women for men? We're gonna find that out, right? Now, what I do like, and I'm gonna go through them here, and this is one of the panels that I was talking about earlier, right? When it's an all-female panel, this was a very good panel. What do modern women deserve, right? So there was no talking over each other, none of the getting upset or whatever, none of the chaos that we've seen in some of the clips that we saw earlier, right? Just having a good conversation. And I've seen pretty much all of them have conversations and panels with men, and there's no chaos and drama. All four of them, right? The Chez Charde, Danica Marie, Chantel Simone, and Riva TV, right? I've seen all of them have panels and discussions with men. None of the issues that we've seen in some of the clips that we saw earlier, right? And what I do like, and this is Chez Charde right here, and what I do like that what they're doing is Chez Charde, that's her again, and this is Chantel Simone. This is Chantel right here, and then this is Chantel again is also, and then Riva TV, right? I've seen them actually have panels discussing fake pick-mes, right? They're actually calling out the women in the space or near the space who are faking it. And that's a good thing. That's absolutely needed, right? Because they are policing. And again, there's nothing that can be done in terms of, you know, women being in the space, right? It is what it is, but at least they are putting eyes on what the women's contents are and what women are doing and so forth, right? And then men can make their own decision if this is someone that they're going to follow, right? And this is Danica Marie. She does some stuff with her husband sometimes, and it's good stuff. And she had been around for a long time already, way before a lot of the other women. And she is another one who says, hey, I'm not in the manosphere, but because of what she talks about, again, she's put in the manosphere. This is IamCourtneyMichelle. You saw the clip from her earlier. This is this next one here. This is Melanie King. I didn't know that she was a big super chatter, like 500, dropping like $500 super chats or whatever. This is what I'm hearing now on in Kevin Samuels' lives when he really blew up, when he cracked right before he cracked 1 million, or right during that time when he was really popular. So that's kind of how she got in the space, or at least, you know, she made the channel after that or whatever, but people knew her from there. Pink Book Lessons, she doesn't appear on camera, but she actually is another one who calls out what she calls chameleons, right? The women who are faking it until they make it, right? And you know, I have a theory on that myself. I'll just say as a general rule, if any woman says, hey, I listened to Kevin Samuels, when I heard Kevin Samuels, he changed my life, right? If a woman says that, and she's 30, 40 years old, whatever, I'm gonna say that she's faking it until she makes it. And let me explain why. I don't believe, let's just say Kevin's popularity wise, in terms of speaking to women, it's probably going to be going on 2 years now, maybe. I think it was at the beginning of the pandemic 2020 that he kind of started talking to women, but he hadn't really blown up. So let's just say give it 3 years. Just be liberal here and say 3 years. So he's been around 3 years. So let's say this woman heard of Kevin Samuels 3 years ago, and all of a sudden he changed her life, right? Well, you've had 30, 40 years of being who you are. 3 years isn't enough time to change your behavior permanently, and especially if you hadn't been dealing with a man in that amount of time. So you heard of Kevin Samuels 3 years ago, and then you could say, hey, I used to be a modern woman. Well, I would think that you still are a modern woman, because you haven't had enough time and practice to not be. Your mindset, yes, he might have opened your mind, but you're gonna go back to your old habits. It's like, again, I enjoy the sport of boxing, right? Enjoy watching the sport of boxing, all that good stuff, right? Training. It's kind of like my man Deontay Wilder, right? This last fight that he had with Tyson Fury, a few months back last year, he came out showing some different wrinkles in his fight game, using the left jab to the body. First round, it was jab to the body, left jab to the body. But then as soon as he got hit, what happened? He went back to what he knew. You know what I mean? So though he had almost 2 years training camp to learn new wrinkles, he hadn't tested those wrinkles in a fight. And then as soon as he got into a fight, he went back to what he knew. And then he broke his hand, so that didn't help the situation at all either. But nonetheless, and I think you see this from time to time, these women, when they get on these panels and they say certain things, they got hit and they go back to what they know, right? They go back to what they know. Some women, some of them have said, hey, look, I got a mouth. I got a smart mouth. I got a smart mouth, and I could be mouthy. Well, guess what's going to happen? They're going to go back to what they know as soon as they get heated. So that's why I said watch their content, especially if they're being challenged, to understand the type of woman that they really are. You know what I mean? Like if they're going to be, toxic or what have you, you're going to have to watch their content or whatever. So this is, again, all female panels. Shout out to Crew Season right here. These panels don't run that way. All men, all women. And this is King Talk. It doesn't matter which brother's on the panel, right? Some of the panel members, they shuffle in and out on King Talk, but I haven't seen them get into that screaming, cursing each other out. I haven't seen the women do it. It's just a different dynamic. And I mean, it's already been 2 hours. I would have played the clips, but it's going longer. But so again, I'm gonna end this stream with the general advice the brother gave. Right, this brother gave general advice, very good advice. I thought this is where we should all be here. He made very good points, calling things as he sees it, and in general, the way things are.
Have to learn to stop arguing with women is pointless. They filter information through their perceptual biases that's predicated on their moral purity. Women do not see facts. They see mean, rude, good, bad. That shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be this way. I don't like that. That's not fair.
And he's speaking in general, right? There's some, obviously, we saw at, like I said at the beginning. You know, I'm gonna you know, some of the ones that we saw at the beginning, they definitely, you could see the difference in terms of emotion and reasoning and logic. The clip that I showed with Chez Charde and Jessica X, and I actually forgot Jessica X in that slideshow that I was doing. I thought I noticed it when it was playing. I was like, how did there aren't many pictures of her. I could have grabbed that one, but nonetheless, she's in the mix too. But anyway, let me keep going.
Notice how they always say, I feel like when speaking on a phenomenon. You'll find yourself in a cyclical battle of reiterating the same points over and over and trying to get back to the original point that you diverted from.
And this clip is perfect because that's exactly what we see on a lot of these panels. Just circular arguments over and over and over. Circular arguments over and over and over. You can't reason with anybody who, you know, is making an emotional argument.
Doesn't matter what amount of evidence you present women with. If she doesn't like it, she will not acknowledge it. She will not accept it. If you tell a woman 2 + 2 is 4 and she don't like you or 4, you just became a bigot, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, misogynistic, xenophobic. Someone hurt you or you're gay.
Spot on. All the shaming tactics that we've seen over the past 4 or 5 years of and actually recognizing it and calling it out on social media. All those shaming tactics there.
If you tell a woman you like apples and she's an orange, you just told her that you hate oranges and your mother.
Yep, that absolutely. We've seen that just recently, right? And we see the hypocrisy in the Black YouTube space, right? With the whole fresh and fit thing, you know. So many think pieces about how they hate themselves, hate their mother, they have mental illness. And I'm probably going to do a video on this. And we see Asian Doll had some colorist issues herself, right? When she was younger, she didn't like dark skinned bees. She was brown skinned back then. She didn't like dark skin. Now, recently, she don't like light skin, but she's dark skinned. So her colorist issues, that mental, it was never resolved from when she was little. Now it's still carrying over. I don't see the think pieces. Why? Because as a woman, it's easy to do men. And then plus, like I said, fresh and fit, they brought it on themselves for the most part. They're the whooping boys right now. So, but people were putting that on all black men. So, or at least Black American men, which those two are not.
If your favorite color is red and she's blue, you're a colorist. They're going to modify.
Absolutely. If your favorite color is red, she's blue, you're a colorist. We hear that all the time. Say a light-skinned woman is pretty, colorist. You know what I mean? But you can say a dark-skinned woman is pretty all day. There's no colorist issue. Colorism only goes one way. Let's say, okay, white supremacy. Okay, fine. If she's black, she's black. Like, you know, you can't have it both ways. They can't be black when you want them to be, but then if you like a certain type of black, then you're still something wrong. Like, you're never going to make anyone happy, so don't even try.
Definitions and concepts to rationalize their position on the topic. They don't communicate to listen, understand, or for a solution.
All right, so that's it. The lesson of the takeaway from this is, man, stop arguing with these women. It's pointless. It is non-constructive, and it's 2022. We should be trying to do everything that's constructive. You know, you're either doing something constructive or non-constructive. There's no in between. There's no in between. It's either constructive or non-constructive. And the circular arguments are absolutely non-constructive, right? And as the brother was saying here, you know, just stop arguing with these women. It is pointless. You're never gonna win those arguments. And oh man, I forgot to put I forgot to put the dang banner up. I could have had this going the whole time, but I'm tripping. But anyway, I threw the link in the chat if there's anybody want to pull up. I know Daryl was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but I'll wait a few minutes then I'm gonna go ahead and call it a wrap. But yeah, there's some really good content creators out here. Like I said, I'm subscribed to. I subscribe. Here's how I roll. I subscribe to a lot of people when I see something and it was like, okay, hey, brother sounds intelligent. So I subscribe so I don't forget the channel. At least that way I'll remember. Like I'll see somebody on a panel. It's like, oh, okay, they got a channel. Let me go subscribe. All right. And I do that so that way I don't forget who made a good point or something to that effect. Then when I get around to it, I will dig into the content and determine if the content is for me or not. Right. And it depends, so if it's just content is just way too toxic for me, I will unsubscribe because I was like, I don't want to even see that. I'm protecting my energy, right? If it's so, I'm like, okay, we might not agree on everything, but we have common goals and we agree on certain things. I'll stay subscribed to the channel and I'll watch what it looks interesting to me, and I'll pass other things, right? And so like I said, Chez Charde is one that to me she hasn't missed in terms of some of the things that she talks about, because like I said, she just doesn't talk about women do this and this all the time. I mean, she covers the gamut. She covers a full range of topics. She covers a full range of topics that some are important to Black men, some important to Black women, but it's a good take and it's a good mix of content. She just doesn't spew the red pill talking points just for the sake of spewing red pill talking points. I've seen that with some of these content creators, some of these females, some of the women over in the manosphere spaces or whatever, that no matter what it is, they will continue to, the only thing they're going to address is the red pill talking points. Women this, women that, and it's clear that they're playing to an audience, right? I saw videos to where when that whole situation went on with the dude Ray Black, who, he deleted his girlfriend and his ex-wife and then deleted himself, right? Now, there were content creators who didn't condemn his actions, but women, and these are women, and put it on the women, that it was the women's fault, that he was pushed to it. Well, I don't condone what he did, but there was no outright condemning of his actions. His actions wasn't justified, and I'm looking at it from a man, from a man standpoint, from a father standpoint. I'm like, okay, look, you guys can argue. You can argue back and forth about whether he was justified because the women were going to take him to child support court and all this. And I don't agree with that, but I'm saying you can argue that point, right? Some people will say, oh, well, he was pushed to it or whatever. But there's one point that you can't argue from. There's no getting around this. And this is just coming from a father. So some of these women, I think, have kids, and they didn't even see it from their standpoint. But I was like, from a father's standpoint, there's absolutely no justification for what he did to his children. So you say, oh, well, he didn't harm the children. Well, yes, he did. He made his children orphans in a single stroke. And then not only that, he left them outside in the car by themselves. I mean, what could have happened to those children sitting in that car while he was making them orphans? So it's like you can't. There's nothing that you can say that can defend that point. But you know, there were some women who were sticking to the red pill talking points. Well, these women were wrong and they were modern women and this, that. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, okay, you know, let me unsubscribe from you, because that, yeah, I would have thought women would have had more sympathy for the kids, right? You're like the even if they don't have children, I would have thought, man, maybe the dormant mother instincts would have kicked in and said, well, Dad, what about the children? And I'm saying that as a father, like, man, what kind of man is going to do that to his children? Like, leave your children in a car while you go make them orphans. And then, you know, you can't go to prison, but they got to be, you know, they got to grow up with the thought of what you just did, you know, this is what you did. And so they gotta face the world now by themselves, no mother, no father. I couldn't get that. I couldn't understand how, you know, there was any justification from that, at least that standpoint. Like I said, you know what I mean? Like, what standpoint could you, how could you justify that? But anywho, so those are my final thoughts. Nobody pulled up, so it's been a good one, family. You know, again, it's just best for brothers to not argue with these women. If you see these panels and there's women that are argumentative, I mean, I would just avoid those. I would just avoid those spaces, right? And you know, at some point we're gonna have to stop supporting drama. You know, and I get it, drama sells. It's why the reality shows have been popular for the last 15, I'm hell, damn near almost 20 years now, probably, you know, going dang near. Reality shows are drama. And drama sells. Drama, you know, it's entertaining, it's interesting, it's, you know, it's fun, you know, whatever. But you know, brothers are going to determine, like I said again, brothers are going to determine if they really want, you know, media produced by black men, or do you want media produced by black women? It's just as simple as that. And I'm not trying to say nobody should get their money. Support the women, because like I said, there's some very smart women in the space, but you know, men are ultimately going to they're going to let you know where they stand. And you know, so again, there's no there after this, there should be no more complaints about, you know, the Oprahs and, you know, how men are depicted in the media. When you have an opportunity to produce your own content, have black men produce their own content, you know, and then you support it. You know, no more talking about that every time you see a black man, he's with, you know, a white woman or Hispanic or whatever. No more complaining about every time you see a black man on TV, you know, he's living the alternative lifestyle. No more complaining about that stuff at this point, right? Because you have an opportunity to, you know, support, you know, black male media. You know, no more complaining about, you know, you seeing Power Book 50. You know what I mean? Like, or Black Mafia family or whatever. You know, black man always got to be shown as a dope dealer or whatever. No more complaining about that stuff at this point, if you're not supporting media produced by black men. And then I'm not saying not to support media produced by black women, but again, if we see the dynamic to where the largest channels in and around the Black Manosphere are channels ran by women, then you're going to understand where black men really truly are, where their mind still lies. But anyway, those are my final thoughts. Peace, Rebel family.